So a question I received was, why are we so focused on all these shapes and how does that come into drawing? And that's an important question because shape is what really defines your character and also gives their personality visually. So I'm looking at here, Creating Characters with Personality by Tom Bancroft, who works for Disney. And it talks about shape symbolism here. If we look at circles, circles make friendly things friendly, soft, pleasant to look at. And right there is Santa Claus. If we look at squares, squares make characters who are very stable, very solid, very playful and heavy. This is just how we think when we see squares. They're just there. And triangles really create a more sinister, suspicious type, and usually represents the bad guy. Look at that crocodile there, and how this triangles just make him look like a bad guy. And it's in putting these shapes together that we get characters that we can recreate over and over and over, because the character defines the shapes define the character. For example, if you look at characters from the movie Up, it's probably Pixar's most shape-based characters that they created. And we can see that the alpha, the bad dog, is really a lot of triangles. And so it fits the model of being a sinister person. Beta is more of a square, and so he's more of a supporting, solid character. Gamma is more circles, so he's the friendliest of the bunch. And he's also very playful in the movie. Carl Fredricksen is really a lot of rectangles because he's an old guy stuck in his ways, and that's just the way he is. Doug is more circles, and he's more naive and playful. Russell is the same way. He's really a big circle, and kind of like Poe, soft and naive and playful. And then Kevin kind of fits in there as triangles because he's more not suspicious or anything, but he's more elusive. And when he first shows up, he looks like he's not going to be a friendly bird, but then he turns into a friendly bird. And so this is how shapes really define characters and give the visual appearance. We can also see a little bit of that in the movie Inside Out. If you look at anger, he's a square. He's not going to change. This is what he is. And then he has those triangles on top of his head to really drive home the point he's dangerous. Sadness is really circular and soft. Fear, if you look closely, is those rectangles, but kind of a triangular shape, so that he looks kind of wobbly and uncertain of himself. Disgust has that circular face, but if you look at her dress, it's very much a triangle. It's like you don't want to get on her bad side. And so this is how you really define characters. My character Jake I wanted him to be friendly, so he's circle. The nose is really a circle, but it's only a partial circle. The ear is a partial circle. But I also wanted him to be more dynamic. And so when I created his hair, it sticks out as a series of triangles, just to give him a little bit of an edge. Eyes are circles. When I get to the body, it's really a rectangle, like that. Then the shoes, you'll learn later the importance of having repetition in your drawings. His shoes are, I never draw it completely, but his shoes are really circles. And then the legs are a solid rectangle, just like his body. And this is the way that I can keep proportions consistent through the drawing. This is also the way that I give the visual appearance. He's friendly and edgy, but he also has a little bit of that solidness to him. And this is the way I can also consistently draw him, because I always start out with that circular head and then build the body according to the proportions. And it helps me keep the character consistent in look and feel over many different cartoons. And so that's why we're focusing on shapes so much. This is the basis of your characters. If you're doing a cartoon and you need a character, then the first thing you need to figure out, what is this character portraying? Is it portraying danger or sinister, or is it a solid character that you can trust, or is it a round figure that you really like, that's soft and friendly and warm? And you can build those characters, and you can do it simply. So this is a character, I'll just do that. A circular character, it's warm and friendly. You can also do a rectangular character that's, and notice I'm repeating those shapes, and we'll learn more about that later. And then I'll put on a little bit of that just for an edge. And then if I wanted to, I could even make the glasses rectangular. Like that. So this is really the value of these shapes, and how we're going to be using them later on is to define your character's personality visually, and also so you can draw your character consistently from cartoon to cartoon. So I hope that helps, and if you have other questions, please send them in, and I'll show you why we're doing what we're doing.